Okay, hello and welcome to Just Like Me. I'm here with Lisa McGibbon. Are you at home, Lisa?
Yeah.
All right. How cold is it today?
I think I haven't actually been outside today, but around 18. Oh no, it was warmer today. Little, maybe minus 15, something like that.
Yeah, not too bad then.
Bad.
You're in Winnipeg, right?
Calgary.
Calgary. Oh, you're in Alberta. You're so close to me.
Yeah. Yes.
It's beautiful there.
Yeah, I love it. It's awesome. I'm not from here, but I feel like it's home now after living here for so long. So yeah, it's home.
What do you like best about living there?
Well, I think a lot of my friends are here now, I guess. I live 3 doors down from my brother. So he's a
Oh,
sibling. So I love that. I love it more than he loves it. But it's great. So yeah. So yeah, and I like the mountains that you can, I can always see them. And, I moved to Edmonton for about 5 years. And I felt so lost the whole time I was there because I couldn't see the mountains and I didn't realize how important they were for me kind of knowing what direction I'm going. And yeah, they're a real kind of landmark. So I knew when I moved back to Calgary and I knew that this was home. So
they're
that's
very
great.
grounding, aren't they?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Do
Yeah.
you go up to Banff and Jasper much?
Um, more in the
In
summertime.
summer, yeah.
We have motorbikes, so we do a motorbike trip through the mountains every summer for
Mhm.
8, 9, 10 days. So, and then we'll ski when we have time. Yeah, so when we can.
It's going to be busy there this summer, huh?
In Calgary?
Well, Calgary, I'm just thinking because of the national parks, because it's
Oh,
Canada's
yeah.
150th birthday.
Great. Yeah.
So all
Yeah.
the parks are free.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm just thinking Calgary is probably going to be busy
Right.
and because the parks are going to be busy.
Yeah, I didn't actually think of that, but yeah, it's, I guess, good for maybe to encourage people to go out
Yeah.
if they
Yeah.
don't
So
want.
if you guys want, if for those of you who don't know, it's our 150th birthday. So all our national parks are free this summer. And I don't think the campsites are free, but I think like the entrance fees to the parks are free. So that can kind of add up.
Mm, yeah.
So you can come and uh, and just be in the parks for free, which takes a bit of the costs away.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, so well, we kind of started the way we usually finish, but I just so now you know a little bit about where Lisa lives, and um, I'm curious about how you came to yoga, then how it started, how you got interested, and what drew you in.
Well, I guess through my life, I had done yoga sporadically. Once in a while, I'd go to a class here and there. But I guess how I came to your yoga was um, so I sit a lot at work, so my back was really giving me a lot of grief. And I just needed something to kind of stretch out my back. And I was going to the chiropractor all the time, and but it was recurring. It was never really solving the problem. It was just kind of fixing the symptoms temporarily. And so I went online and I was looking for something that I could do at the end of the day after I'd sat a lot and try and just get my back relaxed or released a bit. And I came across yours, and to be honest, the reason I kind of hit yours was because it said Dr. Melissa West. And I thought, oh, maybe she can fix my back because she's a doctor, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then I watched I don't remember what episode I watched, but I really liked it. And then I realized that you were a doctor, but not a medical doctor. But I really felt at that point after one episode that that's kind of what I was looking for. And aside from just doing yoga postures, I really liked your style and the teaching that was in the class. So I thought, oh, I can kind of kill two birds with one stone here and get some back all in 1 hour. So
Right.
that's really what first got me started in your class was that I was looking for a solution for my back, which, by the way, so I joined, I started looking at your classes in 2013, and I had to look up when I joined, but I joined in May of 2013, the membership site.
Yeah.
And I haven't gone to the chiropractor once since then.
Yeah. So it really was a matter of having some kind of self-care regimen in place.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I have had kind of a couple of times of recurring back soreness, but really it's been when I haven't taken the time to do lots of yoga or, work on my posture or whatnot. So
yeah. Because when you're at work, you sit for a prolonged period of time. You can sit, like, how many hours at a time can you be sitting?
Usually, I mean, we can get up and go to the washroom, when
Yeah.
we need. So, I mean, usually I get up every couple of hours. So, but I mean, the longest time that we would sit is I think the longest flight I do is about 7 hours.
Yeah.
So, and that's not including, getting in there, getting things ready and whatnot. So it's really, you can sit for a full work day.
Right. And so this isn't like, so you work as a pilot on an airplane, but it's not unusual for somebody, like, this is a relatable thing for people who work in an office to go into a job and sit down for 8 hours at a time, or to take, or 7 hours at a time, to take their lunch at their desks so that they can go home earlier in the day as well.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a long time to be sitting. Yeah.
It is a long time to be sitting. Or doing, and even if you have a stand-up desk, it's a long time to be standing. It's whether you're sitting or standing, it's the doing the one thing for a long time. Or even if you get rid of the standing and the sitting and you're sitting on the floor, it's the not moving that's the hard thing on your body. So what did you find was most helpful for your back? Like, was there a specific pose, or was there a class that you started doing in the membership community, or was it a combination of things that you found most helpful?
Really, I had no real strategy. I started, once I discovered your classes, I went to class 1 and I've just been working my way. So, and I try and do it every day. That's my goal, but it doesn't always obviously work out to do it every day. So since I've joined, I'm up to, I think I just did 329 yesterday. So I've done them all with maybe, sometimes I couldn't get one to play or something like that. I might have skipped that. Plus I've done lots in your membership community. So I really just kind of have no strategy. I just go, other than going in sequence.
You go in sequence for the Yoga with Melissa classes, yeah.
Which has been interesting because some days you push play and you go, this is exactly the class that I needed.
It's funny how that works out, isn't it?
So I like that kind of surprise part of it too. So yeah.
Yeah, because even like sometimes you would be doing things off season, or you would. Yeah, I found that interesting even going back right now, because I'm like going down a walk through memory lane, posting every day a class. Like, we're doing 365 days of yoga right now. And so today is the day that we're recording this is January 12th, and it was a class on the warrior poses. But the last couple of days, I went right now, where it was when we were filming it was autumn. Yeah. Right now in the 365 days, we're in winter. So it still works, It still works because there's always something that's kind of relatable, Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's fun.
I think that's the great thing about yoga is there's always something there.
I always get something out of it, and it's funny because every day I go, oh, that was my favorite class, and then that's my favorite class, and I think I'm going to remember these classes and go, oh, I'm going to do that one again, and then I can never remember
Yeah.
But and yeah, so.
So you don't really have a favorite or anything. It's just,
Well, I do. I have lots of favorites, but like I said, every day I finish, I go, oh, part of me always thinks that was my favorite class. So when I knew that we were going to do this interview, I kind of went back through and had a look through the classes, because I remembered, I'm so bad at remembering the names of classes. And so I remembered there was one where it was a mantra that you had put on the screen, and each day we would chant the mantra, and then you would focus on one line in the mantra. And I really loved that one. And so I searched, it took me a long time to find it, but it was the Guru Mantra series. And I love that one. That was probably, I love the groups of classes, I think, like the series.
Yeah.
So I really, because I try and do it every day, and I'm not doing it weekly when you put them out, they go together so much nicely, and I find they flow nicely because they're all close together. So I really like the groups of classes. So I really like that one. And then I just finished the Focused Living series.
That's a good series.
I really like that one. I got lots out of that. And I don't know if this was a series, but we did it in the Eating Like a Yogi course.
Yeah, that's a good one. So you did that. I ran that as a course, but let me show something that's similar to that in the membership community. So if you come to membership community, because it's a little bit lost in the community. It's past the retreats. But if you come to the mindful eating workshop, so yeah, you got a lot out of that course when I ran that.
Yeah, I love that course.
But this is similar to it. There's a lecture here. And I think what was so great about that course was that something else that you get a lot out of was that we met up once a week.
Yeah.
And so you coming together with a group once a week and being able to talk about your practice, it really speeds your practice and your progress up a lot. So I think having a group of people that you're committed to makes a big difference in the progress of your practice in general. And that's what that course had. And now we do that every Monday with the live meditations. And the people that are in that group are getting so much out of that. So, so this here, for the people that are interested in having a look at their relationship to food or the way they eat, there is this lecture here, and then there's a meditation to go with your eating, and yoga class here as well with it. It's good. And I think they were part of it. It wasn't all of it, but it was part of that course.
Yeah, there were a lot of yoga classes in that course that I really enjoyed. And partly, like you say, because it was part of a full kind of course that it all applied. And I really like the when you group things together and kind of you have a set of things to cover. I enjoy that method, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that's really one of the bonuses of being a member, generally speaking, is that we do so much of that, like kind of packaging things together and curating content, that you get that every week on the Daily Yoga Connection. You get it when we do the retreats once a month. You get it in each section, with a book club. They're curating content around a book. Or you get it in the moon section. Like each kind of section is curating content around a theme, and each month we're creating content around a theme. So I think that's what works so well in the membership community too, is that we are continually like bundling the classes in a way that's timely and working so well for the community too. Yeah.
I love my favorite part.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, and you said it well too, because it works, because when you're coming to your mat each day, it just makes sense when they're put together like that in a sequence.
Yeah, like right now I'm doing the class that I did yesterday. I haven't done one today, but it was the six perfections, I think is the series is what it's called.
Yeah, the six paramitas, the six
Um,
perfection.
and there's 3 classes on patience, I think, and
Yeah.
they're so fantastic. Like I'm probably going to do yesterday's again today. And I don't do that very often because I also find I like the sense of accomplishment.
Yeah. You like to check things off a list?
Yeah. And you know, it's just one of those things you know about yourself.
Yeah.
But I'll probably do yesterday's class again today because I got so much out of that class. And like I was saying earlier, how sometimes you watch things that are just timely. And this class on the second class on patience, I think was about relationships and letting go of relationships. And although it's not really my situation, I think sometimes, you know, I have a friend who's going through a very difficult thing right now in terms of relationships. So I think when you love your friends, you take on a bit of their emotion or you care about their well-being. So that class for me was really timely, and I'm going to send it to her, probably like discreetly.
That's a good idea.
Don't let anyone else see this class, but I think you should watch it, you know, and because I think it's timely. So
Yeah.
I love how the universe just sends you what you need to see sometimes.
Yeah. That class was amazing. That series in that class was amazing. I'll share this now because enough time I think has passed, but when I was teaching that class, so I had one of my best girlfriends. Prior to that, for about a year, I had set some really clear boundaries with her. So we don't live close to each other. So when we would decide to meet up, it would be on Facebook or whatever. And she had stood me up a number of times, and I had said, you know, like, we're supposed to be like best friends, and I don't think this is how best friends should treat each other. And so she got really upset about that, and we parted ways for almost a year. Like, one of my best friends. It was so hurtful. It hurt so much. And so it was right around this time that this class came out around patience. And she said, I want to come back in your life, right when this class came out. And I said to her, I said, you know, I love you. I adore you. I want you back in my life too. But everything I said before stands. Like, I can't have you treating me like that, you know?
Yeah.
And so she said, I promise you, I'm gonna treat you better, and I won't do that again. You know, and she came back, and we healed our relationship, and she's been true to her word. So it's that was like incredibly healing, and it happened all through that class, which was really wild.
And it's interesting the things that you learn because it's so difficult to say those things to people that you love in relationships.
Right? Yeah, because I just wanted to say, yes, you can come back.
Yeah.
I mean, and I never wanted to say, prior it would be, I would say, oh, it's okay. No, I understand.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay if you let me down. But, you know, it was a big deal for me to say, this is okay.
Yeah. Very hard.
And to be really patient, and to say, oh, it's okay if I have no friends for what it felt like forever, right? If they're not treating me right.
Yeah. But I think it's rewarding and I think, you know, like, for example, with my husband and I, it's so easy to not communicate about things that bug you or whatever, but I always say to him, as long as you say things with kindness, you can say anything, really. Like, it comes from a good place and not an angry place. Just say it with kindness, and it always works out better after. But it's so difficult to say those things. But it usually, and if it doesn't work out, you know, I've let go of friendships in my life.
I mean, it's not like shrugging it off, because it was one of the hardest things to let go. You know, I love this woman dearly, and I'm so grateful that we were able to heal our relationship. And that's not what always happens, but it's just, it was just, I bring it up because it happened through that class.
Yeah.
So that class is powerful.
Yeah, I loved it. And even where you said, I think in the second one or maybe the third one on patience, where you said, okay, maybe this shouldn't blow your minds, but something like, how did you say it about, we're all gonna die. We're gonna have to let go of all of this stuff. I think about this stuff all the time. I love all my trinkets that I've bought throughout the world, and we don't have kids, and I think about, who am I gonna leave my things to? I think about that, and it's so silly. None of those things matter. And you were saying how you think of your legacy with all the work that you've done.
Yeah. So whatever it is for us, right? Like, I don't care that much about stuff, but my work, my legacy, what I built, like, my daughter doesn't care that much about it. And I think, but who's going to carry it on?
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
It's attachment to things. And I've learned through your yoga classes, and, trying to, not that I've solved it all, but I'm aware of things.
No. Yeah. No, it's those things where we recognize the hooks. I think it's important to have awareness for them.
I remember and this is kind of unrelated, but my mind is going on all the things that I've learned through your classes. And I remember one of the most powerful statements anyone's ever said to me, and it was in the mind, I can't remember the name of it, the mindful eating yogi class, the eating like a yogi class that we were just talking, course that we were talking about. Because often, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that does this, but how you compare yourself to others. And I was thinking about this today, getting ready for this, because I've watched a few of your interviews just like me, and like, oh, they're so interesting and they're so wise, and they're such great yogis, and not as good of a yogi as whoever, right? Like, they're so, these amazing people. And I remember you said to me in this course, you said that comparison is the thief of joy.
Isn't that the truth?
So it's helped me so many times, and it helped me today, because I'm like, I'm a yogi. I know the names of all the poses and all of the terms that are used in yoga, but that's not what I think has made me a yogi. I think of all the stuff I've learned through yoga and all the ways that it's helped my life. Even that one statement alone, where, today I was thinking, yeah, okay, so why am I comparing myself to anybody? Because we're all different people. So
yeah, and I think and God, I am not above this at all. I compare myself all the time and cause myself so much suffering because of it. And it is so true. We each have so much to give, and to give the world that is unique. And I don't know if it's worse today because of social media and likes and comments, and that the comparison is so easy. And it's I think it's a bit that cultural context that hasn't existed to this degree before, that
we're seeing what people want us to see of their lives, and I'm guilty of that.
Oh yeah.
Every day,
we curate our lives.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, we do.
I had this horrible day, but I'm not going to post my horrible on Facebook.
Yeah, okay, we'll talk about your practice because it's a beautiful practice, but I've never seen you post, "I'm thankful this day is over."
Because those days happen too, right? Funny that, because some days I want to say stuff like that, but I think I need to find something good in this day, despite having had so I guess that's kind of my strategy with that, is to just try and still find, because my life is amazing, and there's always something good, even though I had a crappy day.
Yes, you can always reach for the good. It's true. So Lisa has this amazing practice and if you don't follow her on Instagram, you need to follow her, because it is incredibly inspiring. And I think that I think that is the amazing part about social media. Like, we can poo-poo on it all we want, but we do inspire and uplift each other by sharing our lives. And you share your practice of doing a gratitude practice every day. Is it McGibbon Lisa on your
McGibbon Lisa.
McGibbon Lisa, yeah. So follow her because I've been very touched by yours over the years. You're on your second year of it, third year?
Yeah. Well, it's 440 some days. So second.
Yeah, it's awesome. And every day she posts something that she's thankful for.
Yeah, it's been an interesting thing. And it's funny, when I started because I ran into this friend of mine who's also a pilot, and I saw him at work, and he said, and I don't know his wife, but he said, oh, well, I met her one time, but he said, oh, you should see my wife. She's a yoga teacher actually too in Alberta. And he said, oh, she's doing this gratitude thing on Instagram. And I said, oh, I'm not on Instagram. He said, oh, well, you should go on it and just follow her, because it's really changed her life and, made her, she wasn't always necessarily a positive person, I think is kind of so this had kind of helped her become more positive in her life. And I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. So I joined Instagram and didn't really know how it worked. And I found her, and so was reading her daily gratitude things. I thought, oh, I'd like to do that. But I wrote her and I said, oh, I'd really like to do this, but I'm so terrible at sticking to things. Like I'm terrible at sticking to things. So I'll do things for 3 days.
I don't know if that's true.
3 weeks I don't. And so I
have to disagree with you on that.
I don't know.
There are things that you've stuck with.
Well, there are things that I've stuck with too. Yes.
Okay. So this is not a blanket statement for you.
So okay. I was worried I wasn't going to be able to stick.
Okay, fine.
So I said, and I missed 3 days when my cat died last year because I was so sad. I was mad at the world. So I every day, and now I go to bed, and some days I go, oh, I didn't do my stupid gratitude journal. How ridiculous. And so what I've learned is that it's ridiculous to even let that come out of my mouth at the end of a day where I live in this great place and this great country, and we're free, and we're, there's just no reason to not be grateful, to be able to easily think of something to be grateful for every day. So.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed about you is that you have great perspective because of it.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that we have access to internet and social media, there you go, right there, right? Electricity, running water, and toilets. We get so caught up in wanting more, and yet we don't even realize that we're the top 1% of the population in the world. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yep. The worst part of my day would be a dream come true for some people.
Exactly.
So it's been really a good, it's taught me a lot actually, and I've stuck with it, so that's nice too. And now I feel like I can't stop. I don't know if I could ever end it. So my friend that's doing it, she's on her 3rd year of doing it. Yeah. So, and I consider her my friend now, even though, I met her one time years and years and years ago. So.
Yeah, I think it's there's something to be said for making a commitment to something like that. It does change you. I remember when we did December, it was, I thought, put on a dress every day, right? Take a photo. But it changed me. It changed him.
Because it's habit forming. It changes the way you think because you've done it for so long that it's made me more, as obvious as it should be, it's made me more grateful, and not just in a fake way. I got to write something on my Instagram every day, actually feel more grateful. I remember one day, and I said to Pat, like, oh, what am I going to write for my Instagram today? And he comes up, he's like, oh, you're grateful for, I forget what it was that day, but I'm like, oh yeah, that's great. So it's affected him too, right? Yeah,
it has that ripple effect then too. Yeah, you're not just doing it for you. It has, and I think, it's the same with your yoga practice too, right? You do a yoga practice and it affects everybody in your life as well.
Yeah, because you talk about things that you learned, and I ask Pat to do yoga all the time, and he's done it twice, and he really likes you. He's like, hi, Dr. Melissa. he's just not an exerciser.
Yeah, well, and I think even more than you talking about it, I think it changes the way you act in the world, right?
Yeah. I know it's helped me at work. It's helped me in relationships. It's given me great perspective, I think, and it's led me to look at other things that I probably wouldn't have looked at. It's led me to read books I wouldn't have read necessarily. And now, when you have something difficult, even though it's still difficult, I think I'm able to sit back a little bit more. It's always a learning process, and I'm still trying to figure things out, but you're able to sit back a little bit more and look at what's happening as more like you're an observer than just who it's happening to. And it gives, I think, some really great perspective, and understanding about, and things like understanding impermanence and perspective, I think, is huge on understanding situations and interactions that you have with people. Whereas before, you might just be mad because you think someone's being an idiot, where you go, okay, well, where are they coming from? I act differently depending on where I'm coming from in that story. So I'm more conscientious, I guess, of making up stories for other people when I don't know their story. So I think so for me, the whole yoga thing has solved my back, but it's also given me, I think, lots of tools to have a healthier mind in life. So, yeah. So thank you.
I think that comes with time too, don't you? Like, I think you just explained that so well, right? We come to practice, like you came to yoga practice to fix your back. I remember when I came to yoga, it was because I wanted to stretch once a week. But then the practice pulls you in and something much bigger starts to happen, right? Much bigger. But that happens over the long haul. Like it doesn't happen at the beginning.
And still some things I'm, with the meditation Monday that I love. It's so great. So I went and did Mondays again just before this class because I just wanted to kind of just relax, and I was feeling a little nervous for today. So I just wanted to kind of just chill out. And I felt like the other night I didn't quite understand it, I think. So I went and did it again today. And I got more out of it this time than I did the first time because, we had the discussion at the end of it. So I was able to go back and look at it kind of with the understanding that I gained from all of the other people, what they were talking about in the thing, because I thought, I kind of don't really understand this very well. So after having heard what they all had to say and the discussion at the end, it was so great to go back. And so like you're saying about just over time, if I wasn't on this membership site, like I wouldn't have access to that.
Yeah. And I think, so one thing that you're saying right now that I think is really interesting, that for the people that are listening, that was the live meditation on posturing, if you want to go back and listen to it. What I think happened for not just you, but a lot of people on both the morning and the evening call, and it will probably happen for people when they listen to it, is that class, the talk, and then because I wove the talk into the actual meditation, is so paradigm shifting, it threw people off their center. It takes the ego down a big notch and a half. And so I think for you, and not just you, but a lot of people when they were there, and it would have been the same for me had I been participating and not delivering the message, because it threw you and so many people off center. I think the first time through, you might not have, and I noticed for a lot of people, you weren't really even able to hear the message. It was like, huh? What?
Yeah.
Huh? I'm not getting this.
Didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did it better after I watched it again today. but it's almost worth, I think, doing a third time.
I'm sure. Yeah, it really is, because it's the crux of that. The crux of that style of meditation is that we're releasing tension from our body, because tension comes in when ego goes, no, right? To whatever the situation is on whatever level, whether it be something physical, emotional, mental, energetic, right? Whatever level of experience, our body says, yeah, no, I can't handle this right now.
Yeah.
So
I really like that one. I got a lot out of it, and it left me with lots of questions. Like I've been thinking about it nonstop. Like I went on the membership site earlier today to read if anybody had written comments about that class, because I'm like, I need to know what are people thinking about this class. And so I know I read Michelle had written a couple things and Betsy had written a couple things. I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. And then I ended up going on and writing this big, long, wordy thing, but I'm like, I need to tell somebody about what I've been thinking about this. And it like you said, it kind of did knock me off my center a little bit and left me with questions that I'm interested in looking at about posturing and what parts am I posturing? I don't know. I'm not sure which are the real bits and which are the posture bits, because it becomes so ingrained in your behavior.
mm-hmm.
And so I went back when I did it today and I listened better than last time. Last time I was like thinking about, what am I posturing about? What am I posturing about? And this time I just listened and did and followed what you were saying to do, like starting at our feet. And I don't remember doing that the first time around.
Yeah, you're freaking out so much.
Oh my gosh. So,
I remember when I was doing my PhD and my first class on pop music, cultural studies on, it was my first class on pop music. And it was like my pop music PhD professor, he just tore the Band-Aid off, and he was like, he just sort of tore the veil away about everything that was going on in the pop music industry, and all the romance, and everything was not true, and everything. And I was like, I just wanted to die. I was like, my whole life was a lie, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that was kind of like what was happening for a lot of people in that class.
Yeah, definitely. For me, it was for sure.
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it.
Like,
it's not really funny.
Yeah, like on Sunday, I knew who I was. On Monday, I
don't. Exactly. You're like, it was like, I remember the moment in this class, and I was like, yeah, I thought I had my life all figured out, and then I was like, in this like moment in this class, like my whole life became a lie. I was like, holy crap. Yeah.
Good. I like that. It's good. Things are going to improve, I guess, if you.
Well, Reggie Ray would say it's very good news, but it's very unsettling. It is incredibly unsettling. But it does allow for your true expression to come through. And, I do have to say, as your teacher, I did kind of notice on an Instagram post, a gratitude post about you going out and buying art supplies. And I was like, well, that's interesting in light of this week's meditation.
Right. Yeah. Well, I do dabble once in a while. I have zero access, but
that's not true. Everybody can draw.
But I like it once in a while, and I don't do it very often, but I've been having this, I just have this painting that I want, but I don't want to pay for it. But I'm going to go buy watercolors and do it myself. But it turns out I'm actually really, really, I have less than no talent with watercolors.
Watercolors are hard, but, well, in my opinion, I find them difficult. But, so this was, okay, in light of the Monday meditation, I thought that was really interesting. I thought that was a very authentic move.
Oh, right? Maybe. I didn't really connect them, but
well, okay. So as your teacher from the outside looking in, I was like, well, so see, prior to that, I would have said that was not something that Lisa would have aligned herself with,
Yeah.
or even like publicly admitted to.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Like I don't think nobody really, other than, my husband really knows that I have ever painted anything.
Right. And then that came out and I was like, oh, look at that.
Oh, I guess I never
Interesting.
really made that connection, but yeah, maybe.
Yeah, so I saw that in relation to the meditation, that was coming forward.
Right.
That was
Yeah.
an expression of you that was felt more comfortable to come forward. So I think that's so ultimately what happens when we start to let go of these kind of masks and roles that we play is that the authentic self starts to express itself more freely.
Right. Yeah. I guess
So
I never.
and the authentic self doesn't have to be perfect, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like my painting.
Like your painting, yes. If you find joy doing it, that's all that really matters.
Yeah. I might have to buy the painting after all.
Or not.
Oh no, I can enjoy looking at that painting, I guess.
Or you can just enjoy the process of painting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I do.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
Hmm.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Yeah, I guess it's true. Like even with the daily gratitude thing, I still pick what I put on there, and it's still showing people,
who you want them to see. Yeah.
for sure. And even when I first started the Instagram thing, at first some people made me their friend or whatever you call it, because I didn't know how to work the settings, the privacy settings. So then I go, oh, so then I figured that out and I made it very private. And then I wasn't accepting any friends other than people who I thought would kind of understand or get or knew me well, or I wasn't letting all my Facebook acquaintances.
Yeah.
And so lately I've been letting kind of more people in, which is kind of, I think, oh, did I put anything in there in the past that I don't want this person to see? So there's so much.
Yeah.
That falls under posturing. Like there's so much, even though I'm just being grateful, I'm still ultimately worried about being judged on what I'm grateful for. How you're still showing a part of your life. So
it's a big deal though, right? I mean, being judged is a horrible thing. It feels awful.
Yeah.
And as soon as you put yourself out there, you will be judged by people. Yeah. We have created a really nice safe container in here where we don't allow that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But that is what happens in the world, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's not helpful.
Yeah. But I guess it's kind of part of reality, really, unfortunately. But
it is, but it doesn't help creativity flourish at all in any form. And I mean, I'm sure you already know this, but the only person that I think the person that, and most of you will already know this as well, that speaks best about this, I think, is Brené Brown. Do you know her work at all? No. So Brené Brown writes a lot about vulnerability, and check out her books if you haven't checked them out already. And she has a YouTube talk, TED talk on the power of vulnerability that's like been watched a gazillion times. But the thing that always helps me with this the most is that because I get a lot of criticism around my strengths too. So for what you say you like me for, a lot of people don't like me for. So what she says is that unless somebody's in the arena, like unless they're doing a daily gratitude, right? Or unless they're creating like you're creating, then their opinion doesn't count.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's never the people, in my case, it's never the people that are creating YouTube videos or yoga videos that are criticizing me, because they know what it is to put it out there and to do that. it's people that are consuming them and that have no idea what it is to put themselves on the line. So that always helps me to put those comments in perspective.
Right. Yeah. I can understand that. Yeah.
And she's great that way.
What was her first name?
Brene, Brene.
Yeah, I'm gonna write it down.
Yeah, she for all of you listening, I mean, she's fabulous. She's got several books and they're all great. There you go. There's a whole new
Yeah.
You'll have fun with those and the TED Talk.
Yeah.
And maybe that'll loosen that fear around being vulnerable like that, because it's I mean, it sucks and the criticism comes, but it really doesn't count unless they're doing it too. And if they're doing it too, they're going to offer constructive feedback that's helpful. Have you had anybody give you feedback that's not helpful?
No, not at all. I just, I don't know. I didn't want everybody at work and, just, I don't know.
Yep.
At first, now I'm more open to that because it's, it's become more of
it's become more of who you are now.
Yeah. So at first I was kind of, I'm just going to let people who, are into this kind of thing see it. So, but it turns out, it's surprising that people, I had a guy at work that I've known for many years. He said I saw him one day, or he texted me. I can't remember. Anyway, he said, I love your gratitude. He's like, I look forward to it every day. Like I read it every day. He's like, it's so nice. There's so much like negative and junk out there. He's like, I can't. And he clicks a like, I mean, not that it matters, but I know that he sees them every day because he clicks a little heart or whatever every day. And I'm like, oh, that's so nice.
It's incredibly uplifting.
Yeah.
It's like in the membership community, the most popular thread is the happiest moment of the day.
I like that one.
Where people go in and just leave it, what's lifting them up that day,
Yeah, I go and read those once in a while. It's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. It's that part, and it has nothing to do with yoga.
Yeah, it's nice. All of the things that have come about because of yoga, or because of, because I happened to click on the right thing on YouTube one day. I only really joined the membership site originally because I was like, oh wow, she gives all these for free. Like I want to pay for this, like give her some money kind of thing. And I had really no attachment other than, and I liked the videos, and I mean, I certainly didn't know you or anything. And then, so I joined the membership site just to kind of make a donation. And then I was like, wow, there's a whole pile of stuff in here that's really great. And then I'm like, oh, I'm never going to not be a member.
That's really great when that reciprocal relationship. And I love that you're getting so much out of it, and that you're coming to that you are taking advantage of the live classes, because
yeah, I love them.
It's a really great group.
Yeah,
because you come to the Monday night ones, and it's a very cohesive group that's moving through that. Yeah,
awesome. I really like it, and I get, I think, when I listen to the other gals speak, I'm like, they're so wise. Like they're so, I don't know, they get so much out of this. And then I get so much out of when they speak of something, I go, oh yeah, I get that now. And it's really, I like the conversation that happens in those live classes. I can't always come, obviously, but it's so great.
There's a real depth of wisdom in that class. And for people that are listening to your interview, there's a real, we've been doing this for a few months now. So, and people have come a long way in their practice, but people were sort of at all different levels in their practice. But a lot of the wisdom is life experience too, which is amazing to have that life experience, wisdom that comes from practice. But it is just great to have that depth of wisdom coming from people's experience in class, and that is definitely what makes it so rich.
Yeah, I really get a lot out of it. I like it.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add that we haven't covered before we wrap up?
I don't know. I guess just thank you. Thank you. I know it's lots of work, and I mean, your whole family and your whole life is kind of dedicated to this. So, yeah, I think it's great. It's enhanced my world. It's great.
I loved hearing you talk about it today. I loved hearing how much you get out of it and the way you've applied it to your life.
That's awesome. Yeah, it fixed my back and my world. Good.
It's so cool, and I'm looking forward to hearing how you come. Like, I get that you're a little off center right now, and I'm looking forward to hearing how you come back to center again.
It's interesting. The Meditation Monday is something that's come up for me just recently, and that's what I wrote about today. So it's really been on my mind, but about femininity and about being a woman in the world. And, my whole life, I never really thought about being a girl ever, really. It never came up. Like, my parents never said things like, oh, just because you're a girl, you can do anything. They never said things like that. They were just always said, work hard, do a good job. And my gender never came up. Mm-hmm. So obviously I know I'm a woman, but in my lifetime, I never really considered it until lately. It's coming up lots in my universe. And I'm not really trying to have it come up, but it's coming up lots. And
interesting.
Yeah. So, and I've been a woman in aviation for like 20 years. So, and it's only come up now. So that's something that I'm really interested in exploring kind of via yoga. And I bet you there's going to be a yoga class come up, like, and there's going to be something insightful to help.
Well, I have a feeling your moon sisters who come to your live meditation class would be happy to just take you under their wings. I know Nicole this is something that she's been exploring a lot this year too, and also Michelle. So it's definitely, and there are loads of classes around it.
Yeah. So it's interesting. So I feel very fortunate that I have this avenue because I'm around men all the time.
Yeah.
I have girlfriends, but I don't they've got, my best friend's got stuff going on. My other girlfriend lives in the East Coast. And so I feel so lucky that I have this avenue to explore this, even though it's maybe not, we're not sitting having coffee, but I think there's so many advantages to this membership community. So I know I have a place to go and have discussions and learn about this. And so I guess that's what I want to say is I'm interested in exploring, and we all have, I guess, things in our life going on, and it's nice to have a safe place to come and my lights just turned on to come and explore, whatever thing is going on. And not everybody's interested in having those conversations.
No, yeah.
So in this community, at least you're in a group of people who are like-minded people. So anyway, I guess that's what I want to say is I'm thankful that I have kind of an avenue to explore, things that are going on in your life, even if it's not a dramatic, problem or whatever. It's just something that's come up. So
yeah, and at a pace that's comfortable for you too, right? I think too. Yeah. Go hang out in the Moonstruck section.
Okay, I'll have a look at that.
Go have a look at that. I think that might just open things up for you.
I'm gonna do that as soon as.
Yeah, just go say hello.
Okay.
Say, hello, I'm interested in exploring my feminine side. And they'll be like, welcome, welcome.
No, I didn't like. It's just never come up before. Yeah.
So interesting.
Oh, it's weird.
No,
Yeah.
not surprising given your line of work.
Yeah. So.
Well, have fun with that. And thank you so much for doing this.
That was great.
Appreciate it.
But yeah, I totally forgot that we were not just having a normal chat, which it was. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So any advice for any other people who might be nervous to do this?
Yeah, because I was a little bit nervous, speaking of posturing and all that, right? I even put on
I know. Gosh, you really put it all out there too. We talked about you're very open.
and because you're great at making people feel comfortable, and I just kind of forgot. So it's good. Yeah. I think anybody that's going to do this, don't worry about it. Just jump right in and you'll forget you're just having a chat. It's very nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it was so nice to spend this time with you, and I appreciate it. And I'm looking forward for everybody to get to know you.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Okay, and I will see you on the next Monday. You can join us.
Okay. Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Bye.
Bye.